So over the weekend, I decided to watch Speak No Evil, the 2022 original and the 2024 remake starring James McAvoy. I want to talk about which one I felt was better, the negatives of both, and how I feel about the controversy surrounding the fact that this is a remake of a movie that is pretty fucking recent. But before I get into how I feel, let's get into what's real, which is the story. When a family on vacation is befriended by another family, they're invited to stay the weekend at their house in the middle of nowhere by fucking strangers, and for some reason they accept it, but the family who invited them slowly starts to show that maybe they've made a mistake. And to that I say, yeah, no duh, you don't know them? Why would you do that? Like I said, the original came out all the way back in 2022, decades in dog years, in human years, extremely recent. In dog years, you're probably like halfway through their life. The original story is somewhat inspired by true events. Christian Tafstrom, the director of the original 2022 film, was invited and did befriend a family on vacation. They invited him and his family out to stay with them in the middle of nowhere, but because it's real life, he declined the offer because he's not a dumbass. But this did inspire him, and he said, hey, but if I was a dumbass, I could have made a pretty good horror film. And he did. And both are pretty good for what they're giving you. The 2024 remake does have a little bit more American sensibilities. It's a little bit more slick. It's a little bit less style to the overall presentation in the direction. It's a lot more paint by numbers. No offense to James Watkins, the man who directed and wrote the remake. It's a little bit boring visually. The 2022 version is an art house film. A lot of long takes, a lot of great just visuals to look at, a lot of great visual storytelling, and it just has that art style sensibility where you watching it, you taking it in with a little bit more seriousness than the remake does. Now, even though the remake isn't as serious as the original, I don't see that as a negative. I actually see that as a positive, because let's be honest here, this couple do find themselves in a rather dumb-ass situation, especially to put you and your family in, to just go out into the middle of nowhere with some random strangers you met in a random country around the world. It's just not a good idea to do. One thing that I do like about the remake that wasn't in the original is how they show the fact that they are driving themselves into the middle of nowhere. In the remake, they have them driving in the middle of the dark. They make a turn and the camera pans out and the screen is complete blackness, and the only semblance of light is coming from their car. The original don't really have anything like that. I felt the original felt a little bit more like, I don't know how isolated they were. It felt like they could have neighbors, but this one, it was like, no, these niggas are isolated. There is no neighbors. There is no houses. There is no nothing. It is only this house and a bunch of trees and a big road. That is it. That is all. Would you put your family in this situation? No, because you probably love them, so you wouldn't drive them out into the middle of nowhere with a bunch of strangers. No one would do that. I'm just saying. Once again, no one would do that. I also like how James McAvoy plays Patrick in the remake. He's a little bit more charismatic to me. He has that abrasive, loud, charismatic way of speaking to people, where even if he is crossing a boundary and you want to say no to him, 9 times out of 10 you're just not, because he's going to put on a smile. He's going to say, come on, guys. Come on. Oh, but come on. Let's just have some fun. As Americans, sometimes that is all it takes for us to have some fun. Just smile, loudly say, come on, and just say, let's have some fun. Just go with it. And most times, we will just go with it because, you're smiling. Maybe you do have my best interests at heart. Let's see how this goes. Oh my gosh, you've removed my kidney. Damn it, I shouldn't have fell for the smile. Whereas in original, I don't know, to me, the whole family just seems a little bit more nicer. He's not as charismatic. He just seems like a polite guy that you can somewhat have fun with here and there. But he also just feels a little bit more serious than James McAvoy is. Him and in his wife are a little bit more serious in the original than the remake, except for James McAvoy's wife. I forgot her name, Kira. She's just silent the whole time, and she's just smiling, and she just says a nice compliment here and there, and she's docile. So you see this very charismatic dude with this extremely docile woman who's just all smiles and compliments. You want to just get embraced by them. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You can understand why Ben and them want to be embraced by them. And they do go a little bit deeper into their characters, in their marriage, and why they do decide to say yes. I mean, both marriages are sort of stale in both movies, but the remake marriage is real stale. It's going through some turmoil and tumultuous situations to where, hey, the wife don't want to do this, but she don't really have a choice, in a sense that her marriage is on the rocks. There's a lot of things up in the air. She sees that this man is always mad, and hey, maybe going out and spending some time in the middle of nowhere with some random people will lighten this nigga up. Maybe we just need to do this. I want to lighten him up. So let's just go out and have some fun. Even Ben in the remake, and I think it's Bjorn in the original, Ben is even a little bit more questioning and skeptical of the situation. He's also the naive husband that you see in a lot of horror movies, but even he's giving like the looks of, I don't know what the hell is happening here. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just quirky. But I mean, I'll listen though. But I don't know what's happening. Bajorn, on the other hand, seems like he wants Patrick more than Patrick's wife wants Patrick. That man is smiling at him through that whole movie, like, oh my God, Patrick, come on, say what happened. You're a funny guy, Dutch Patrick. He's just kind of like a digmatized woman being strung along throughout that movie until the last moment. Here, Ben likes Patrick, but Ben is also a little bit like, again, he's side-eyeing him here and there, or he's looking at his wife like, yeah, that was weird. I don't know about that. Let's not do that. All right, let's keep. He's looking at her. Let's take some mental notes to understand what it is, the situation we got ourselves in. Granted, both movies, the characters just make completely dumb decisions. Like, they're able to get out the house, but then in both movies, even though they're able to get out the house, they give them a reason to go back. And you're just, on both sides, in both movies, you're just like, don't go back to these people. They're fucking crazy. What's wrong with you? You just saw what happened and why you left. Just goddamn leave. Fuck whatever that is. I get it, your kid's crying, but sometimes you gotta just let your kids cry. You see what happens when you don't let your kids cry? Kids end up going through more traumatizing shit than they need to before they're 15. The original is a lot darker, I will also say, than the remake. The original is just flat out horror. It's the soundtrack, the pacing, the way that they lay out their shots. It is just horror filled. It's a lot of lighting. It's a lot of character in the filmmaking that is making the movie feel a little bit more anxious. And as everyone says, the ending for the original is just, it's bad. It's heart-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. It's a very, very dark ending. You just don't feel happy about. The remake does give you more of a happy ending. It gives you more of a understanding of what's going on here as well. Like, it really does break down to you what's happening, why they're doing this, what they want from all of this, how they're doing this, whereas in the original, they don't really break it down to what's happening. Things just happen. Everybody's a little bit confused. Everybody's a little bit bewildered. Everybody's a little bit bewildered by what's going on around them, and they're just in this terrible situation with really no good outcome. The remake, even though it does end on a positive note, I feel like it sets itself up for that positive note that the original one don't, because in the remake they are a little bit more skeptical of their situations and their surroundings, in this couple and them, the couple are always somewhat communicating with each other through looks and glances, like, I don't know what's happening here. I do feel like that would be the ultimate outcome in that particular situation. They work together as a family. They're a little, even though they have this big rift between them in their relationship and this dark past about it, they still somewhat are here for each other. And I like how they're utilizing this couple in this situation to more so talk about them working through their problems and coming out victorious and growing closer as a family. I feel like both are more realistic outcomes depending on how you handle the situation, because in the original, towards the end, the dad just finds it out. He doesn't tell his family what's going on, so it's hard to really for them to coordinate a plan to get out of this situation comfortably. Whereas in the new one, once they figure out what's going on, they talk. They come together. They congregate. They corroborate a plan on how do we get out this mug. No matter what, we are going to talk with each other. We are going to communicate. We're going to figure this out. And you see that in the trailer as well. And I feel like, yes, when you communicate with your family and the entire family is coming together to talk about the situation they're in, I feel like you can devise a plan of attack to get out or to save yourselves. Whereas the other one, because the father and the mother doesn't communicate, the father pretty much walks them back into a worser situation with the only person at guard is him, and everyone else is a little bit down, and it's easier for them to get taken advantage of for that terrible ending to happen. All in all, I like both for what they're giving you. If you want a more mainstream, fun, horror, thriller, darker, comedic version of this very dark and drowsy film, then go and see the 2024 remake. If you want to just sit in sorrow and just feel terrible about what you just saw, stick with the 2022 original. I think both has their rightful place for what they're offering, and I think both are pretty good. The only thing that I don't like about the 2024 remake is that it's not as visually stylistic or has a more visual language and aesthetic. It's just more so a very mainstream Hollywood look, horror tint to it. Whereas I do feel like there's more of a inspiration and an aesthetic in the original that's just lacking in the remake. But there's more of a character and story deepness in the remake that I don't really feel in the original. If I was to rate them as a singular thing, I think both are 8s in their particular field and what they're trying to accomplish. Both are great watches to just sit down and take a gander at. Thank you guys for watching. Do you agree? Which one is your favorite? Put it out in the comments below. If you disagree with me and you like the original one more, leave a like. If you agree and disagree with me and you like the new one more, leave a like. If you're watching this, leave a like. If you're done watching this, leave a like. If you want to watch more, like, and subscribe. Do both. Go ahead, have a fun time. And if you just want to see more reviews, comment more reviews, please. Thank you for watching. Good and bye.